everyone could return to their seats, please. We're ready to get started. If everybody could please go ahead and return to their seats, we're ready to get started for our keynote address. To our City Council and legislative delegation following Coach Tuberville's address to us, if you would just come over here, we'll get the pictures and then we'll begin the meet and greet. If everyone could return to their seats, we're ready to get started. It is an honor and a privilege for me today to introduce our keynote speaker. Now, who would have thought 20 years ago, when Coach Tuberville was in the midst of a 6-0 run against Alabama, including 4-0 in Tuscaloosa, that today, 20 years later, he'd be an honored guest right here in the city of Tuscaloosa. But here we are, right? You know, in one of my toughest nights professionally of my career, right over there, I stood there in November of 2018, and I said, when the governor, I'm wishing Governor Ivey success, because when the governor is successful, Alabama is successful. And hopefully, since Governor Ivey has been serving our state, I've lived up to that promise. And like many in this room, I believe that Senator Tuberville is going to be the next governor of the state of Alabama. And I believe this. You can give that a round of applause. And I believe this. If Senator Tuberville is successful as our governor, then Alabama's cities, Alabama's counties, Alabama's school system, and all we work for will be successful. And by the way, I think Senator Tuberville is off to a good start. The fact that Senator Tuberville took the time out of his schedule to come here to listen and to learn and to engage with us, that says a lot about a person who wants to lead our entire state. I know it impressed me. And so I hope all of you will join me in a round of applause in welcoming Senator Tommy Tuberville. Senator. They're waiting on you, Senator.
Thank you. Feel a little different coming over and not going to a football game. This work? There you go. Hey, good to see everybody. I'm not up here to bore you. I got to be back in the clown show in a couple hours in D.C. So, but it's good to see everybody. It is interesting times that we're in. The last 6 months have been very busy for us in D.C. Katie, Britt, and I we're trying to do the best we can with what we got to work with up there, but it has been very interesting. And I'm glad to be on the Armed Services Committee, the Ag Committee, and I think it's really helped our farmers. We hadn't had anybody on the Ag Committee for 25 years. I'm on the Health Committee, which is Health, Education, Labor, and Pension, and on the VA Committee, which I'm sure we got some veterans in here. I've been to the VA here in town. We got a lot of work to do with the VA, but again, I'm not going to come up here and bore you with a lot of details. There's a lot of good things going on in our country. We do have a lot of problems. Those problems just filter all the way down to communities all over the country, especially like here in Tuscaloosa, all the way over to Birmingham, all the way down to the southern part of the state. When you're $37 trillion in debt, your credit card is maxed out, and you don't have a lot to work with from the federal level, it gives you problems on the state level. And I'm thankful for what President Trump's doing, and I'll tell you why. We can't tax people. We could tax everybody 100% and we couldn't pay this debt down. These tariffs, we got to tax everybody else out of this country. And I tell people this, and it just makes sense. And President Trump, he explains it like this. We've had a party for 249 years in this country. And we've had all the other countries coming here and celebrating with us at a party for the greatest country ever. But the problem is, they've taken advantage of us. They've just come here and partied with us, but hadn't brought gifts or drinks or anything like that. People have to pay their way now. We have got to make other people pay their way across this world and quit taking from us and give back. And so that's what President Trump's doing. He did a deal yesterday with the EU, which is going to pay tremendous dividends. And again, a lot of this is going to come back down to the state level. And he did one with Japan last week that was phenomenal. Most people don't really understand. If you look at, you don't look at the bottom line, and you look at all the small things that add up over the years, it's going to help. It's going to bring money back to the states. I really don't enjoy going to the White House that much because it takes time away from what we do over in the Senate, but I had to go last week. It's supposed to be a 30-minute talk with the president in the Oval Office. It ended up about 2.5 hours. You don't do anything short with him because he gets off subject and starts talking about all the good things going on, which is good. You learn a lot of things when you go over there. But so it comes to my point of why I'm leaving the Senate and coming back going to be your governor. Because as he says, the things he's doing, the money's coming back to the states. The power is going to come back to the states. We have to take advantage of it. Other states are going to do that. The ones that surround us in Florida and Georgia, Tennessee, Mississippi, I promise you they're going to take advantage of it. And so that's what we're going to do. And, you know, when I become governor, it's going to be kind of like being a football coach. You're only as good as the people around you that know what to do, whether it's kicking game, offense, defense, offensive line, wide receivers. It is no different in any business or in state government. You got to have good people in the positions that understand what they're doing, that can build and work and pass things along to all the cities, the municipalities, all the mayors across the state. We got to do it together. And it's one thing that I'll tell you, and there's probably some people here that's not big Trump fans, but I'm going to tell you what he does that makes things better that I've seen the first 4 years I was there that was awful, is communication. Is being able to communicate what you're doing and do it amongst everybody. This is not Republican or Democrat idea here. This is an American idea where people communicate to make us better. Folks, we are in bad trouble. Okay, this country is in trouble. And I tell you, it started out with a debt, but a lot of other things. But we can fix it. They can all be fixed, but you got to do it on a local and state level. You can't do it from a national level. You can start it. President Trump can get it going. We can do it in the Senate. We can do it in the House. But if you're going to solve your problems, you're going to do it within the state. And it starts with the communication. But you got to have good people involved. And so that's what I'm looking forward to, is putting the good people in positions that understand what they're doing and work with the people all across the state to make things better. And I can go over a list of things that I want to do. I'm big in education and infrastructure and all those things, and we do have problems. We got many problems. I've been in almost every high school in this state. Hell, I've been in almost every high school in the Southeast in my career. We got problems. But again, I'm not going to get up here and tell you the things how we're going to fix it. There's no reason to do that right now. But we are going to address them. We'll have a 10-point plan that what we'll do is working through state government, through mayors. That's what most of you are, county commissions, city commissions, school boards, anything that has to do with authority in the state. You can't do it by yourself. You just can't do it. You got to be able to address the ideas and the problems, and you got to work from there. You know, a lot of people, it's amazing to me in any business, and the one thing, again, I learned from people like President Trump, you can't solve a problem unless you know the damn problem, and unless you will admit it's a problem. And so that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to know our problems, and we're going to have to address the problems, and we're going to have to fix the problems. Now, again, this is a different world we live in, totally different than most of us grew up in here. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about technology. I'm talking about AI. AI is getting ready to just pretty much overtake everything that we're doing in this country. And it needs to. It needs to. If you just look at what China's doing, China can build a bridge that would take us 3 years in this country they can build it in 3 months. How do they do that? Because they are so far ahead of technology in terms of AI. They are so far ahead on energy. Energy is one of the things that we had better start focusing on. And we're going to focus on it here in this state. We have 2 energy suppliers. We got Alabama Power and we got TVA. And we're getting ready to get on top of that. And both of them do a pretty good job at times, but we have got to expand. If we're going to expand in your purview, in your city or in your county, we have got to get more energy. We got to do it. We have no choice. If we don't, we're going to be left behind. This is the 21st century. This is not the 20th century. And we got to think like that. And so that's the reason that we'll add some things. When I become governor, we will add some positions that will enhance that, that will try to make it better in terms of the planning and communication that you put together. We got to do it. We can't stay status quo any longer. We've got to look forward and we got to plan forward. But you got to have a plan to do that. And you got to have a 10, 20, 30-year plan for us at the present and for kids in the future. That's one thing that I'm really concerned about. Now, I will tell you this: we have to grow in our state. Again, you can't tax us anymore. I mean, you can only squeeze so much blood out of a turnip. I will tell you this about the federal government. We try to, and I'm a person that, since I've been up there with Senator Shelby and now with Senator Britt, loving to send money back from the federal government in certain situations, whether it's for law enforcement, whether it's for roads, bridges, anything that we can do to help. The problem is we don't do budgets anymore in Washington, D.C. And if you don't do a budget, you don't have earmarks to where you can send certain things around. We have tried to do earmarks, but the problem is we can't. We have such a divide in the right and the left in Washington, D.C. We can't get a budget. So we do a continuing resolution where we just kick the can down the road and say we're going to continue to spend at a level that we're at right now. And the problem with that is earmarks are not involved in that. So we cannot, and you cannot, look at it and say we're going to depend on federal money. Folks, that ain't going to happen. Because when you're $37 trillion in debt too, you also have a problem of finding that money to send. So I'm going to tell you this: my 4 years in Washington, D.C., my first 4 years, we were printing. We were overspending our budget $2 to $3 trillion a year. We can't do that any longer. And how were we doing that? Well, you were sending $4 trillion to D.C. We're spending that. We'd run out about this time of year, about the 1st of August, and we'd turn the printing presses on. We printed $80,000 a second to keep this country running. Don't you think about that? $80,000 a second. We are putting our kids in harm's way. You know what's happening now? In June was the first time, because of the tariffs, we were able to balance our books. First time. And I've been up there going on 5 years. First time in 5 years we can look around saying, hey, we paid our bills and we didn't have to borrow money. We didn't have to print money. And that's what it's going to have to happen for us to be able to help on the state and local level, because the federal government can't continue to do what they've been doing. We can't do it. So I'm looking forward to working with all of you. It's a situation where I think it works out pretty good for me. I have, and again, I'm not running. This is not an ego deal. I could care less about being governor. I'm going to tell you. I want to be a CEO to help you and all the mayors and all the people across the state make our communities better. And why am I doing that? Because I've learned enough and I have the contacts in Washington, D.C. Folks, you can't survive unless you have people that you know that can help you above your rank. And so obviously I know President Trump, and I've talked to him about certain situations, things that we're building in this state that I think the federal government can help on certain levels. But I also know other people in the level that we're in now that if I need to make a phone call, I can make it. Hey, we need this help with this regulation. I talked to the EPA director last week. There's some things in this area that, hey, we need the EPA's help. We need the EPA's help on some certain situations just in the Tuscaloosa area, which I think they're going to take care of. But you have to have those relationships to make something work. You can't just call up cold turkey and think that people are going to help you, and they don't know you. They might not understand you. They might not. Again, this is not Democrat or Republican. This is a situation where people communicate and they want to help other Americans. So that's why I'm doing it. And again, I'm looking forward to it. I got a year and a half left, though. I'm going to tell you what, a month with President Trump seemed like a year. So, because again, we got supposedly have four weeks of vacation coming up, and we got a lot of nominations to do. And again, when I saw him last week, the last thing I did, I heard him say, "Coach, y'all can't leave for vacation. You got to stay here and work." And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it. We're in harm's way right now, and we need to get everything we possibly can get done as soon as we can get done. I don't care who's president or who's running the show. People of power, like a president, needs their people in a position where they can work and they can depend on other people to get the job done. So it's interesting times. Again, I'm so glad I went up there, and I wouldn't mind staying again in another term of being in the Senate. But my wife and I, we looked at it from a family standpoint, and then we looked at it from a standpoint for the state. And what can we do best? You know, where can we help the most? And we decided governor, and so that's the reason we decided to do it. And again, right now I don't have anybody running against me. Have candidate. I'm fine with that. People, if they think they want to run, fine. But I'm all in. And again, I'm gonna be your best friend. I'm not going to agree with everything that you want to do. You're only limited to a certain point. But go back to my original point. We have to grow the state. There's not a day goes by that Katie Britt and I don't have a manufacturing company coming to us, whether it's from the United States or whether it's from overseas. Coach, we want to move our manufacturing plant to the state of Alabama. How can you help us? What are we looking at? What's your workforce development? Which, by the way, is one of the biggest things that we're going to have to get involved in. And I just met with all 28 community college presidents about that. But that's a little bit down the road. We're going to get that done. We're going to get our kids to working with their hands and doing things that's going to make us stronger as a state, but make our country stronger and make them stronger, give them better jobs. But it's so important that we understand we've got a chance to get people to come to the state of Alabama. But I'm going to tell you, it's like coaching in the SEC. We're going to have to take on Georgia. We're going to have to take on Florida. We're going to have to take on Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, because they're all going to do the same thing we're doing. They're going to be recruiting. I'm going to be the head recruiter. We're going to be the head recruiter, and we're going to go out, we're going to get manufacturing coming to our state. And you know what I want to happen? I want our kids that go to school in this state, stay in this state and work, because there's not any better place to live. Sometimes they think the grass is greener on the other side, whether it's Nashville or Atlanta or Dallas. We're going to have more to sell here than they could ever imagine, but we got to have a plan for that. So I'm looking for the challenge. Again, we got a challenge right now in Washington, D.C. I got a vote at 4:30 Central Time this afternoon on something that's pretty important, and we'll have another one tonight. As a matter of fact, I'm meeting with 3 other mayors in Washington, D.C. tonight. And so we're going to continue the dialogue with people that actually run the communities. So I want to thank all of you what you do. I know what community service is. Sometimes you get in a bubble of being involved in what you do. Football coaching for 35 years. I didn't see anything but football. That's all I saw. I didn't look outside what everybody else is doing or the direction we're going. Sometimes you need to open your eyes. And I've had my eyes opened in the last 5 or 6 years of being in politics and watching what you do, how much you sacrifice from the family and the things that you do to make your community better. It's a hard job. I don't care what level you're on. It's a hard job, and it's time consuming, and you find out. Now, the one thing I have found out is it's not a lot of difference between football coaching and politics, because you get your throat ripped out all the time by either the media are your fans that you don't that they don't believe in how you voted or whatever. But it's satisfying to me because giving back and helping people that won't help themselves. But this is going to be a interesting time for the next 10 years in all states. We're going to take advantage of it, and we're going to hit the ground running here in a few years. So thanks for all of you meeting here today and being part of this. Again, the more you can get together, the better. When I'm governor, we're going to do quite a bit of this. We're going to meet in different places, but everybody has to be all in. I don't care. Again, this is not Democrat, Republican. This is Alabama. This is America. And take advantage of what this country gives you. Take advantage of what this state can give you. And if we don't make it better and we don't have a plan for that, we'll never achieve what we want to achieve. Again, it's like winning football games. You know, I love winning, and I love winning championships. We're going to win championships here at Alabama in politics and in our country, and we're going to help our kids, and we're going to grow it. We have 5 million people here now, and we're going to have a lot more than that coming. But we want to make sure we have good jobs for people who are coming. We got some good announcements coming up in the future about the state coming from Washington, D.C., and it's really going to even enhance, you know, the future of our state. So it's going to be fun. And again, I'm all in. I'm kind of like Trump. I can't sit down. My wife, I'll go home on the weekends. She said, "Sit down a while, watch TV, let's talk." And no, I can't do that. I got to be doing something. I got to move around. And a lot of you are like that. That's just my personality. And so I'm looking forward to the next year and a half of doing what Katie and I are doing in D.C. to continue to help the state. And then after that, coming back and being in this state, moving around, making friends, but also working with all of you. Again, this ain't Democrat, Republican, this is Alabama, and we're going to make it better. And if we don't work together and try to pull everybody together, as I said earlier, all those SEC schools around us or those states, they're going to be kicking our tail. That's not going to happen. We're going to bring it all together, and we're going to make things happen. So thanks for meeting. Y'all have fun. I'm not going to get into all y'all. I know you have problems. We've been talking about those. All those will work out. Just believe in what you're doing. And again, I'm looking forward to continue working for you the next year and a half, and then coming back to the state. And again, we'll have a closer, better relationship. I know most of you already. Y'all been coming with your hand out for the last 5 years, and that's fine. That's fine. You're supposed to. And you know, when I become governor, I'm gonna be going to D.C. with my hand out just like y'all have been, trying to bring the bacon home. So thanks for meeting. Thanks for what you're doing. Let's take advantage of a great state and a great country that we have. God bless you. God bless.
We're going to get some quick pictures with you and then
Let's
let
do
you
it.
do your